Hey guys, thank you all for once again joining in. Firstly, I welcome you all to Amazon Labs. In today's session, we are going to speak a lot about your product research. As an e-commerce seller, we all know how much role product research plays. Your product can literally make or break your business. If it is so important, then it is also very important for us to master it, right? So in our recording today or in our video today, I have broken this product research process into 4 simple steps. If you are able to master, if you are able to understand this process, I'm sure you will get to your winning product immediately, right? So no matter whether you are a beginner or an experienced seller, this video is going to be of massive value to you. So I request you to watch this video completely until the end, right? What is our first phase? The first phase here, it says demand. Now, selling on Amazon or selling on e-commerce platforms, there is no point selling products where there is no demand, right? So we are speaking about the fundamental product research process. So what you need to do is always look for markets where there is good demand. Now, what do I mean by demand? Before selling a product or before getting to the product, you should know that your competitors are doing well in terms of sales every single day, every single month, every single year, right? So you need to assess your demand or assess the demand of your competitors. You need to know how many sales your competitors are making. You need to know who are your top 10, top 15 or top 20 competitors. You need to have some visibility on their sales velocity. Sales velocity is nothing but the number of sales that they are doing every single damn month, as simple as that, right? So always get into products or markets where there is good demand for your specific product. Now there are two ways of doing it. Well-known method is just by finding your competitors and then making a list of your competitors, just in a sequence. Make a list of your top 10 or top 15 or top 20 competitors, and then use your software tools such as your Helium 10 or Jungle Scout, and then also capture their revenue numbers. That is one way of doing it, right? And you can also use your advanced methods. You can see, look or go in search for highly searched keywords and see, if there are any products that are related to that keyword. In case if there are no such products, it means that there is demand for this particular product but there are no offerings, so you may also enter such markets, right? So the key point, whether you're following in either of the approaches, right, the key point is you need to be passionate about your product. This, now when I say being passionate about a product, one, always get into markets where you are genuinely, or when you have some inclination, right? So always get into passion oriented markets. Why I say that? Because it is not just about identifying demand and then analyzing your competitors. It is also more to do with your value addition. Unless you add value to your customers, you will not make any money, right? Now when you are passion oriented, when you are passionate about some product, naturally you will come up with so many, or you will be able to see so many opportunities for improvement. In that ways it adds a lot of value. But what if you are not passionate about a particular category? You need not worry. All that you need to do is find markets or find categories where there is good demand, and then get to a product and then learn about the product. Try to get into Facebook groups, try to see what is happening on Pinterest. So that is how you can build a passion around some product. Either get into passion oriented niches, or find a product and then become passionate about it, see what is lacking, and then try to add more value, right? But the takeaway from this first quadrant is finding a market where there is massive demand, right? So you need to make sure all your competitors are doing well in terms of sales. Let's move on to the second phase, which is your analyze phase, which is very very important. Now certain mistakes you can avoid, right? So you can see, you need to study your competition. You found a market where there is good demand. You also got a list of your 15 or 20 competitors. Now you need to see what is happening. You need to see, you need to study, right, what kind of feedback your customers receive or your competitors received, right? When I speak about customer feedback, you need to see how many star ratings your competition has, right? So are they all 5-star rated, are they all 3-star rated, are they all 4-star rated, right? So basis that, you'll also be, you need to go through your customer reviews, right? Just pick who is your top competitors and then go through all the reviews and then make a note of all the pain points in that particular niche or product or market, right? So that becomes a massive opportunity for you to improve and enter the market, right? So always study your customer feedback, right? Before, once you get or identify a product or identify a market where there is a lot of demand, make a list of your competitors and then start going through customer feedback for your competitors or on your competitors listing. Now when I speak about going through your competitors listings, it is not just about your written feedback. You also need to be very carefully looking at the images that the end customers posted on your competitors listing. Why I say that is, when the end customers, when they post images, they may also disclose some information which can help you massively, right? So you may, let's say for example, you see on a particular competitor listing, you have gone through all their end customer feedback, you have made a note of all the important points for improvement, and you also get to see so many images and you see certain pattern in those images. In all those images along with this product, end customers are also, they've also clicked couple of other images, and you see in most of the images both the products are there, which means these two can become a potential bundling opportunity for you. So very carefully go through the customers reviews or customer comments and also customer images. Then comes rating. Now see, to be very honest with you, I like markets where there is lot of demand, because I know there is demand, there are customers buying day in and day out, and if I add value I can also make a space for myself, as simple as that. Now ratings, it is not necessary for you to enter the markets where the average rating is under 300 or under 400, because if that is the case, there may not be so much of demand in such markets. So then if that's the case, why would you sell a product in such markets when there is no demand? But what you need to be careful about is, make a list of all your competitors and then also make a note of how many ratings they have got. Couple of them, they may have 1000 reviews or ratings, 2000, 5000, and what you need to see is, are there any sellers who are rated under 3 or who have got less than 200 or less than 300 ratings, and just identify such sellers and check how many sales are they making, right? When I'm doing my product research, I make a list of all my top 15 or top 20 or top 30 competitors, or I make a list of each and every competitor who is doing more than 300 units in terms of sale every single month, right? So I'm interested in such markets. So when I see some 15-20 guys are making more than 300 sales in that particular, for that particular product in that particular niche or in that particular category, I make a note of all my competitor details, and I also make a note of how many sales they are making. And then what I'll check is, are there any sellers among this list of 15 or 20, are there at least 3 or 4 sellers who have got less than 200 ratings or 200 reviews, right? So what it means is, when there are people with less number of ratings selling well or doing well in terms of sale, it means that there is no barrier of entry. It is easier for you also to enter. If these guys with less than or under 200 ratings, if they are able to make more than 300 sales, you as a new entrant, if you are able to add more value, it is easier, or it is possible for you also to enter and then make a space for yourself, as simple as that, right? And then the next point is price range. If all your competitors are selling the product at the exact same price, then you need to worry about such markets. I really don't like such markets. So what you need to look for is, are there, you need to look for markets where there is good price range. So a couple of your competitors could be selling your product or their product at $20, and there could be other sellers who are selling at 25, other sellers could be selling at 30, other sellers could be selling at 35. So you see there is a good price range in this particular example. Now I see for the exact same product, there are sellers who are selling at $20, and I see there are sellers who are also selling at $40 or $45. So I, as a beginner, I can start at $20 and then I can work my way up to 45 and then hit my target 35% of net profit margin. So always enter markets where there is good price range. So the very purpose of your analyze phase, by the time, so in your find phase, You're going to identify markets where there is good demand. Now, how to identify markets with good demand? It's very simple. Just make a list of all your competitors. Just check if they are making more than 300 in terms of sale. If you find 10 or 15 such guys, it means there is a lot of demand for that particular product, right? And then comes your competition analysis. When you do your competition analysis, you're trying to see what are the gaps in that market. Now, what are the customer pain points? Now, what is that your competition not doing well, right? And then you're going to see or analyze the price range. And that is how, when you go through your customer feedback, that is how you identify gaps. You're going to make a note of all such points so that you can discuss with your supplier at a later stage. And you are also going through your customer images and see if you can derive any value, right? So this is how you are going to analyze your competition. And then comes the value addition. Trust me, if you are trying to sell the exact same product, it will not work. You will be kicked out of the game in 1 or 2 months, right? So when you find a market with good demand, after reviewing your competition, you have made a note of opportunities for improvement. You need to work on it. Now, don't think about making money without adding value to your customers. First comes value addition, and then comes your money. Focus on value addition. See what is that you are getting onto the table. Why should customers buy from you? Now, your competitors, they could be having 5,000 ratings or 6,000 ratings or 1,000 ratings. You as a beginner, right? So why should they buy from you? You need to have some compelling reason. It just cannot be the price, right? So when you launch your product at the beginning, you could be pricing your product at your break-even number, but that will not work over a period of time. So you could be doing that initially at the beginning phase, just to gain some sales velocity and also gather a couple of reviews. But over a period of time, that is not sustainable. So it is very important for you to add value. Now, you have already analyzed your competition. In your analyze phase, what are those gaps. Now, that is what you need to work here. You need to see how can you improve the product, how can you add more value to your customers. Now, when I speak about improvement, the first and the best way of improving your product is fixing all the gaps that your competition is not able to do, right? So when you go through your competition, you made a note of all the points for improvements. Just work on them. Just make sure you're working on them. Just speak to your supplier, and then try to improvise the product in those areas, the idea or the areas where you identified the gaps. One challenge with this approach, especially if you're a beginner where your order quantity is low, if you're trying to customize a product too much, your suppliers may say, hey, yeah, we can customize it, but the only thing is my minimum order quantity is 5,000, or you will have to pay a $4,000 upfront fee as a mold cost. That may not work for all of the sellers, especially for the beginners. So when you're thinking about value addition, you need to be a little sensible here. You can customize as long as your terms with your supplier is good, and then you can also improvise the product by bundling, right? Now, when I speak about bundling, when you go through your customer feedback, you see opportunities, right? So I spoke about images. Now, from your images, or from the images that customers posted in the feedback section, right? So from there you may come across a couple of more ideas. Yeah, so using all these insights, you can come up with bundling ideas, right? You can just bundle the products that go well together and try to add more value to your customers. And then once, it's not just about improving the quality and bundling it, you need to present it well through your images. Now, we know that e-commerce, nobody is touching your product, nobody is feeling your product. The only way customer understands what you sell is through your images and also through your customer star rating, right? So images are very important. Whatever improvements that you have made, you need to clearly call out using your images. You need to tell that story to your customers. You need to tell your story. You need to say why you're different or how you're different from your competition, why they should buy this product from you, right? So these are few things. And then what are the benefits. Now, how different are you from your competition? Now, what is that value add, what is the value add that you are getting onto the table? Why should they buy your product at this price, right? So these are few things that you need to call out through your images. right? And you also need to be very careful with your value addition part. It should not happen that you're trying to bundle a product just to force fit. That will not work. You may feel that this product will go well, but your customers may not want that product, or you may end up bundling a product that is costing you very high, and that becomes, or that makes your overall value proposition very unattractive. So you need to be very much clear and careful with this value addition part. So we know that we need to differentiate. This is where a little bit of experience also helps, right? If you are selling for the first time, you may not be in a position to understand, but once you have one or two products up and running, so you will be very much competent to make that kind of differentiation. So once you're done with your value addition part, then comes your margins. Now see, if you're thinking about selling in the USA, do not pick a product which has got less than 35% of net profit margin. Because when I say 35% of profit margin, you may have a PPC expense of 10 to 12%, right? So if you exclude 35 minus 12, which is like some 23, and then you may have your expenses like your 3PL charges, or any unforeseen expenses, or any customer returns. So you need to factor all those components. So I always recommend, do not pick products which have got less than 35% of net profit margin. Let's assume you're done with your first phase, which is your find phase. You're done with your analyze phase. You are also done with your ideation phase. And then you realize that margins are very low in this particular market. Then you need to think about it. Don't go ahead, right? So just drop it out. Drop your idea, or put it in garbage bag and throw it, right? So we want, all these four steps are really critical. We cannot miss out on any one of these checkpoints. So as I mentioned, when it comes to margins, you need to make sure you have got greater than 35% of net profit margin. So be very much clear on your COGS, which is your manufacturing cost, and then you need to have some visibility on your shipping cost. You also need to know what is your FBFE, and then comes your margins. Right, so each of these components are very important. So you need to have this visibility before ordering your samples. Now you have done all this as you have done your step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you need to have some level visibility on your margins. And when you know you're surpassing your thresholds, or your margins or your numbers are hitting within your targets, then that is where you'll go ahead and place an order for sample, right? Yeah, before that you also need to check whether this product is patented or not, whether this product is restricted or not. So these two checks are very important. Do not miss out on that. I've seen so many cases where people were making like 15k 20k every single month, and then they had an issue with patent, right? All of from next day they had zero sale, right? So that should not happen to any of you. It doesn't cost much. Once you find a good product, when you see that there are your margin projections are good, just invest few dollars, $20-30, and then get this patent checks with one of the you will find such people on Fiverr or Upwork. Just hire someone, get your patent checks or done. Now restricted products, this you can do it yourself. You can just search on Seller Central. You'll get to see the list of restricted products. Just make sure that what you are planning to sell is not a part of that restricted list. Now if your competitors are selling, that may not be a restricted one, but still check, that part is also very important. So typically these are the four key steps of doing your when you think or really think about product research. So this is a very very fundamental approach, and this is what has been working for many of the people I know, and for myself also. And I'm sure if you do all these steps properly, you will get to your first winning product. To be very honest with you, I could have, or I can have, a dedicated video on each of these points, which we will think in the future, in the future videos. But at this point in time, I just want to give you a high level overview of the product research process. I hope you found this video recording helpful and value additive. If that is the case, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. I will drop massive value bombs every single week. I really appreciate all of your time for watching this recording. And one more important thing, if you are Helium 10 users and if you are not availing any discount, so I'm going to drop a link in my description, so you can, in case if you're not availing any discount, just use that link, so it will be a benefit for you, and I will also get a small kickback, so it will be a win-win for both of us, which makes sense, right? So cool. So this is all we have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it a lot. Thank you for your time and have a great day. Goodbye.